Hello and welcome to my presentation. My name is Widmann and I'm 19 years old. I currently attend Johnson County Community College and I play soccer for the women's soccer team. As you might hear from my accent, I'm from Germany and I came here to the US to combine a high level of soccer and a good education. And since that is not possible in Germany, I decided to continue my path here in the US. I choose to do this introduction to sports management class because I would like to enter this area in my future career and I'm really interested in it. In today's presentation, I want to discuss the following questions. First, I want to take a look and highlight the changes in the sports landscape for the next 5 years and discuss the challenges these changes will cause for future sports managers. Secondly, I will discuss the role of technology, which is predicted to be a big part of future sports managers in the next 5 years. And thirdly, I want to talk about how you can prepare best for a future in sports management. And additionally to those three questions, I also want to discuss the impact of social media on the industry and emphasize the changes social media will cause for the next 5 years and how sports managers need to adapt to still continue to be successful in this field. First, I want to take a look at question number 1, which is about the changes in the landscape of sports management. And in my opinion, we all know that the sports industry is constantly evolving at an unpredictable pace, and therefore the next 5 years promise both exciting opportunities and complex challenges for future sports managers. First, I want to highlight the changes regarding the shift of fan engagement and demographics, because younger generations, especially Gen Z and Gen Alpha, are consuming sports differently than previous generations. You can see that because traditional television viewership is declining and teams start to face the challenge to fill off their seats, which signals that fan attendance at games also is declining. This happens because fans increasingly prefer digital content like short clips, highlight clips, social media engagement, and all that stuff. And also at the same time, fan bases are becoming more diverse, representing a wide range of cultural, geographic, and social backgrounds. In my opinion, the challenge is pretty clear because sports organizations rely on loyal fans to drive ticket sales, merchandise purchase, and sponsorship revenue. And to keep going with it, they need to adapt to these changing engagement patterns because otherwise they will tend to lose relevance. Good examples for that are, for example, teams and leagues that try to overcome those challenges, like the NBA and Major League Baseball. The NBA is like a leader in this space because they create digital highlights for TikTok and other content for social media to reach a younger fan base who is not able to watch the full game, and they try to reach younger generations who will only connect with the team when they see it on social media. And therefore, they are just trying to create long-term relationships through those platforms. Another example would be Major League Baseball, because they experimented with streaming initiatives like MLB Sunday Leadoff on Peacock to appeal to a digital-first audience. And these examples show that innovations in fan engagement are essential to keep reaching the younger generations and to keep creating long-term relationships and connections. Secondly, the rising costs and revenue challenges are changing factors in the sports landscape because player salary, contracts, and transfer fees are increasing at staggering rates, particularly in leagues like the NFL or the NBA, and also European soccer clubs. The problem is that at the same time, operational costs, stadium renovations, and enhanced fan experience continue to climb. Also, revenue streams become more unpredictable, and ticket sales, broadcasting rights, and sponsorship deals can fluctuate depending on the economic behavior. Therefore, sports organizations must be careful when balancing these high costs with the need of consistent revenue to remain financial sustainability. Sports managers must be strategic when managing those high costs and revenue to ensure long-term financial stability. A good example for this change are European soccer clubs like FC Bayern Munich or Real Madrid, because these clubs face immense pressure to pay star salary with navigating fluctuations in broadcast and merchandise revenue. Also, minor league baseball teams often struggle with attendance dips, which are essential since ticket sales are the major source of income. Finally, I want to address ethical and responsibility concerns, because fans increasingly expect teams and leagues to take a stand on social issues like racial equality or mental health awareness. But you also need to highlight integrity concerns such as doping, gambling, or player misconduct. And all those concerns or changes in the behavior or expectation of the fan base can quickly damage a team's and league's reputation. Also, environmental sustainability is another concern, because this includes stadium operations, team travels, and merchandise production. Failing to address these concerns can lead to fan backlash, loss of sponsorship, and general negative media attention, which will all lead to a bad reputation. Good examples for that is, for example, the NBA or the FIFA. The NBA has been vocal on social justice initiatives, sometimes receiving both praise and criticism. And also, FIFA and other international soccer organizations continue to face pressure to address corruption, sustainability concerns, and major tournaments. Also, MLB and NFL stadiums are implementing green initiatives like solar panels and zero waste programs to meet these expectations. The changes make it essential for future sport managers to deal with ethical and social responsibilities, because these are no longer optional. It is now a critical part of managing a sports organization's brand, reputation, and relationship with the fans. And therefore, they need to be pretty aware of all those factors. To finally summarize the first question, I would say that the sports industry faces interconnected challenges regarding adapting to shifting of fan engagement and demographics, managing rising costs while maintaining revenue streams, and navigating ethical and social responsibility concerns. Addressing these challenges require creativity, innovation, and strategic thinking. And sports managers who can embrace these changes and respond proactively will not only survive in the next 5 years. In the next 5 years, they will thrive, creating experiences and partnership that resonate with fans, sponsors, and communities alike. This question leads us to the second question, in which I want to discuss the role of technology for future sports managers. We all know that technology is changing the sports world faster than ever before, and especially in sports management, technology is now a big part how teams, athletes, and organizations work every single day. And therefore, sports managers must learn how to use those tools and to be successful with those tools. There are three main areas where technology has the biggest impact, which are data and performance analytics, fan engagement, and event operations. But at the same time, we also need to think about ethical challenges too. The first major change I want to address is data and analytics. Because today coaches and sports managers can track how fast athletes move, how high they jump, and even how tired they are. They use cameras and sensors, which give them information that helps to prevent injuries and improve performance. Many soccer and basketball teams therefore already use motion tracking systems, and they even use it when scouting new players, because instead of watching a game, they now can study statistics and have a look at the technology to find the best talent, which makes it easier for them to make smarter decisions. Secondly, I want to look at the big changes in fan engagement, because fans want to feel closer to their favorite team now. Mm, there are mobile apps now, virtual reality, and social media, which creates more exciting experiences for the fans. And even the stadiums are becoming more digital to keep fans happy. For example, the AL Clippers, they have a new stadium which is opening in California, and it has a huge screen called the Halo board, very fast Wi-Fi, and technology that helps fans to order food quickly and to move around the stadium faster. There are even special areas like the wall where the most passionate fans can stand and cheer. And yeah, that's like the new innovations, and they make fans happier and make them feel more appreciated, so that they can also engage more with the team. Sports managers must understand these technologies, because they help to create unforgettable game experiences, and they help to earn more money for the team. The third area where technology plays a major role is event and stadium operations, because digital ticketing makes entering a stadium faster and easier. Stadiums can also adjust lighting, sounds, and temperature using smart entering systems, and some places now use contactless entry, where fans can scan their phones, walk inside without stopping, and also technology helps with security by watching crowds and responding to problems quickly. Sport managers must learn these systems to keep events safe, organized, and fun. But even with all those positive advantages we get from technology, it also brings new challenges. One of the biggest issues is, for example, privacy, because teams collect personal and health data from athletes, and they also must protect it. Because, especially in my opinion, athletes should have control to oversee their information. Another problem is, for example, fairness, because richer teams with more money can afford a better technology, while smaller and poorer teams cannot, and this creates an unfair advantage. Also, some computer programs may judge players based on numbers and ignore personality, teamwork, or leadership. And in my opinion, sports managers must be careful and not rely only on technology when making the huge decisions, because they need to include the overall player, for example, for recruiting, and not only their statistics and health data and everything. And in conclusion, technology helps sports become more exciting and successful, and it helps to train the athletes better and makes fans happier, and it improves the stadium operations. But sports managers must balance technology with fairness and responsibility, and they also must understand both the benefits and the risk. I think the future of sports will need smart leaders who can use technology in a way that helps everyone, the athletes, fans, and teams. while still protecting the true spirit of sports. Since technology changes sports so quickly, future sports managers must be well prepared. And that brings us to the third question, which is how can I best prepare myself for a career in the field of sports management? A career in sports management offers many exciting opportunities, and you can work, for example, with teams, athletes, events, marketing, or even new areas like esports. But to succeed, you must start preparing early. There are several key areas that help you build a strong foundation, which are education, practical experience, skills, networking, and specialization. First, education is really important. Many sports managers study sports management, business, marketing, communication, or sports law, and these subjects teach you how to operate in a sports organization, and you can learn about finance, scheduling, ethics, and sponsorship. A good education helps you to understand the sport as a business and not just as a game, and it just prepares you and gives you the knowledge you need to develop key skills and to get even the opportunity to work for a different or a special organization. A second practical experience is one of the best ways to prepare. For example, sports organizations like to hire people who already worked in the industry, and therefore you should um, do like an internship or volunteering at games, helping at school sports, or working for a local club, because that's a great way to learn or to have your first experience. You can also help to plan events, communicate with fans or assistant coaches. And this real world experience builds confidence and skills that you cannot learn in a textbook. And it just gives you something like on a paper that if you want to get hired for a bigger job, they see you already have experience, um, and you have the key skills and you already worked in such an environment. Third, sport managers need strong personal skills. For example, communication is extremely important because you work with many different people. You work with athletes, coaches, fans, sponsors, and media. And good communication keeps everyone informed and motivated so that nothing is unorganized. Also, leadership skills help when organizing events or managing a team. And problem solving skills are also essential because in sports many surprising things can happen. For example, a weather change, an injured player, loud fans, and sport managers must stay calm and find a solution. Also, networking is another major key skill to success because in sports, knowing people can help you find a job and other opportunities. To build yourself a network, you should meet professionals at conferences, connect with coaches or athletes. Um, you can also use platforms like LinkedIn, and all those will help you to build strong relationships, and they show that you're serious about your career. And in my opinion, it will always open you a door. Finally, it helps to find your own niche. The sports industry has many different areas like esports, analytics, marketing, event management, athlete representation, and way more. And if you specialize in something, you can become an expert, and that is what teams really need. This makes you more competitive when applying for a job, and it makes you unique because it's your strength, and therefore they would hire you for something that makes you unique, and that is a positive impact for their organization. To sum up, preparing for a career in sports management means learning in the classroom, gaining real experience, building valuable skills, and making connections. if you work hard, stay motivated, and take every opportunity, you can build a successful and rewarding career in sports. Additionally to those questions, I want to talk about one of the biggest forces shaping the sports industry, and I think we all know that it is social media. Because over the past decades, platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and all those other streaming platforms and social media platforms have completely transformed how sport is played, promoted, and experienced by fans, athletes, and organizations. I first want to talk about fan engagement, which I also addressed in question number 1 and 2. Fans no longer have to wait for the game day or tune in traditional TV broadcasts. They can follow every highlight, meme, or behind the scenes clip instantly on their phones, and younger generations, especially Gen Z and Gen Alpha, are watching highlights or reels of games and not the full broadcast. Um, that's why leagues like the NBA have learned heavily how to produce content for social media. They have their TikTok account where they post highlights, interviews, and funny moments to reach millions of fans daily and keeping the league relevant even when games aren't being played. Another example is the Bundesliga, which is the highest league of soccer in Germany. And they also experimented with streaming and short form content to attract a younger audience who prefers digital platforms over cable TV. All in all, you can say that social media has made sports more accessible and global than ever before. Additionally to that, social media has revolutionized athletes' branding and marketing because of NIL. NIL stands for name, image, and likeness, and new NIL rules make it possible that college athletes can now earn money through sponsorship and endorsement. They can earn that money while they attend college, and that makes social media to a key tool which they use. An athlete's follower count and engagement rate are now just as valuable as their on-field performance, because it gives them the opportunity to promote themselves and to build a financial side while attending college. For example, we can take a look at Clemson's gymnast Emma Moletske, because she has leveraged TikTok and Instagram to become one of the most remarkable college athletes in the country. And she's landing major endorsement deals all because of her social media presence. Therefore, social media platforms have tuned athletes into their own brands, giving them control over how they connect with fans and sponsors. But on the other hand, the same platforms that help athletes grow their brands also expose them to online abuse, mental health risk, and misinformation. Because the studies have shown that athletes, especially women and minorities, face high levels of harassment on social media, often from angry fans or gamblers. Sports organizations are starting to respond because, for example, the NCAA and professional leagues are now monitoring social media activities during major events and providing support for athletes who experience online abuse. Still, this remains a serious issue that managers and teams must address proactively. Finally, social media has reshaped sponsorship and revenue strategies because brands no longer rely on TV commercials or a stadium signage. They now expect digital activations, influencer campaigns, and measurable results from social posts. A sponsorship deal today often includes branded content, hashtags, and player takeovers. This shift is pretty exciting, I would say, but it also makes it harder to measure what's really working, and a viral post might get millions of views, but does it actually sell tickets or merchandise? We don't know that, and that's the next big question sports marketers must answer. In my view, social media has been one of the most powerful and positive innovations in the history of sports, but it's also one of the biggest challenges to manage. Um, I think that it gives athletes a direct voice, allows fans to feel more connected to their favorite teams and players, and it opens countless opportunities for marketing and sponsorship. That's why it makes sports more personal and more exclusive and also more global than ever before. But I also think that the sports world has to learn how to handle the dark sides of social media responsibility, because the constant pressure to post, the fear of backlash, and the exposure to negativity can be overwhelming for athletes, especially when they are younger. And sport managers, leagues, and event sponsors have a responsibility to protect athletes' mental health, educate them about online safety, and promote positive fan behavior. I also think it's important that teams don't chase viral trends for just for attention. In my opinion, the focus should be on building a normal connection with fans, not just quick views or empty clicks. The most successful sport managers in the future will be those that are social media authentically, and balance creativity, integrity, and community. My conclusion about this presentation is that the sports industry is evolving faster than ever before, bringing both opportunities and challenges for future sports managers. In my opinion, over the next 5 years, leaders in this field must adapt to shifting fan engagement, manage rising costs and financial pressure, and take responsibility for ethical and social issues that influence the public image of sports. Technology and social media will continue to reshape the way fans, athletes, and organizations connect. From advanced data analytics to virtual reality experience and athlete driven branding online, the future of sports management will depend on those who are innovative, strategic, and open to change and able to adapt to those changes. I think preparing for this future means more than just earning a degree. For me, it means gaining real world experience, for example, through an internship. It also means building strong communication and leadership skills and understanding how digital tools, global trends, and community value come together in modern sports. In my opinion, the most successful sport managers will be those who can balance progress with purpose, and they need to use technology and social media not just for profit but to build authentic connections, inspire fans, and create exclusive and a responsible sports environment. I think that sports will always be about passion, teamwork, and unity, but how we manage and share those values will continue to evolve. And in my perspective, as future professionals in this industry, it's our job to make sure that evolution moves in a positive, sustainable, and inspiring direction. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, please note them down in the commentary box.